Have you ever felt a strange discomfort just thinking about your own body? A quiet voice in your head that says, "This is wrong. This is dirty. Don't talk about it." Most people feel this at some point, but they never question where it came from. They just assume something is wrong with them. But is that really true? Or is it something they were taught without ever realizing it? In today's video, we are going to explore this very topic: where sexual shame comes from, why so many people carry it silently, and how it can actually be unlearned. So, if you have ever felt embarrassed or guilty about something completely natural, this video is made specifically for you. Watch until the end, because we'll close by talking about the exact steps psychologists recommend to let this shame go for good. First, let's understand what sexual shame actually is. In psychology, shame is different from guilt. Guilt says, "I did something bad." Shame says, "I am something bad." Sexual shame, then, is the deep, internalized feeling that your body, your desires, or your natural curiosity are somehow wrong. Researchers describe it as a feeling of being judged or faulty for something that is a completely normal part of being human. And here's the important part: people are not born with this feeling. Nobody enters the world ashamed of their own body. This is something learned, absorbed slowly over years, often without a single moment anyone would even remember. So, where does it actually come from? There are several sources, and once you see them clearly, the shame starts to make a lot more sense. The first source is childhood messaging. Many of us grew up hearing things like, "Don't touch yourself," or "Don't ask questions like that." These comments seem small in the moment, but a child's brain absorbs them as a rule about their own worth, not just a rule about behavior. The second source is religious and cultural conditioning. Many people grow up in environments where sex is treated as something sinful, shameful, or only acceptable within very narrow boundaries. Even people who no longer hold these beliefs consciously often find the old feelings still sitting quietly underneath. The third source is poor or absent sex education. When a child's questions are met with silence instead of honest answers, they learn that the topic itself is dangerous. Curiosity gets replaced with secrecy. The fourth source is comparison culture, especially through media. Unrealistic expectations about bodies and performance quietly convince people that their normal experience is somehow lacking or wrong. The fifth source is past experiences of judgment or violation. Sometimes a single comment from a peer or a painful past experience can plant a seed of shame that grows for years without anyone noticing where it started. Now, here's something worth sitting with. None of these sources are the person's fault. Nobody chooses to be raised in silence. Nobody chooses the comments that shaped them as a child. This is exactly why researchers are so clear on this point. Sexual shame is not evidence that something is wrong with you. It is evidence of what you were taught. Let's talk about how this shame actually shows up in daily life, because it's often much quieter than people expect. The first sign is avoidance. Some people simply avoid thinking about or discussing anything related to their sexuality at all. The second sign is disproportionate guilt, feeling guilty even after something completely healthy and consensual. The third sign is difficulty communicating needs or boundaries, because speaking up feels like exposing something shameful. The fourth sign is disconnection from the body itself, a kind of quiet numbness or discomfort in one's own skin. And the fifth sign is harsh self-judgment, an inner voice that is far crueler to you than it would ever be to a friend. Research has also shown that this shame doesn't stay contained. It can affect self-esteem, mental health, and relationships. Some studies link high sexual shame to reduced confidence and greater anxiety around intimacy. It doesn't just sit quietly in one corner of a person's life. It seeps outward. At this point, I'd like to make a small request. If this video is resonating with you, please make sure to like it, as it genuinely helps this content reach more people who need to hear it. And if you feel comfortable, share in the comments what part of this video felt most familiar to you. Psychology tells us that shame loses its power the moment it's spoken out loud. So even a simple comment can be a small act of unlearning. Now, let's continue. So how does someone actually begin to unlearn something this deeply rooted? Psychologists agree it starts with a very specific first step, and it isn't complicated. It's understanding. The first step is naming where the shame came from. Was it a family comment, a religious teaching, a lack of honest education, an old experience? You don't need to solve it yet. You simply need to see it clearly, because shame thrives in vagueness. The moment you can point to its source, it stops feeling like a fact about you and starts looking like what it actually is, a message you absorbed. The second step is separating the message from your identity. This is the exact shift researchers describe as moving from "I am bad" to "I was taught this." That single sentence rewritten changes everything because it moves the problem out of your character and into your history. The third step is seeking accurate, affirming information. So much shame survives on silence and misinformation. Learning honestly about your body and about what is actually normal often dissolves shame faster than anything else, because shame cannot survive daylight and facts. The fourth step is talking to someone safe. This might be a trusted friend, a partner, or a therapist. Shame researchers describe shame as something that depends on secrecy to survive. The moment you speak it to someone who responds with empathy instead of judgment, it begins to lose its grip. The fifth step is practicing self-compassion, deliberately. This means noticing the harsh inner voice and asking, would I ever speak to someone I love this way? If the answer is no, that voice deserves to be questioned, not obeyed. It's also worth saying clearly, this isn't about becoming reckless or abandoning your values. Unlearning shame isn't the same as having no boundaries. It's the opposite. People who release unnecessary shame often become better at knowing their real boundaries because they're no longer confusing fear with wisdom. They can finally tell the difference between what actually matters to them and what was simply handed to them by someone else's discomfort. Society also has a role to play here. Silence is what allows sexual shame to be passed down generation after generation, quietly, almost invisibly. Open, honest, judgment-free If you take only one thing from this video, let it be this. The discomfort you may feel about your own body or your own natural curiosity was very likely given to you. It was not something you were born with, and it is not a life sentence. You are allowed to understand yourself with patience instead of judgment. You are allowed to ask questions instead of staying silent. And you are allowed to slowly, gently put down a weight that was never truly yours to carry. So, that was today's video. If you found this helpful, please hit the like button. Share it with someone who might need to hear it, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, click the bell icon so you're the first to know whenever a new video comes out. Thank you, and see you in the next one.